Well, shaken people, back with another reaction, back with some more Aha. Continuing our journey through Memorial Beach, 1993. Very interested with this album, and there's been a number of people commenting that it's been refreshing to go through their catalog through fresh eyes, in the sense, or fresh ears perhaps, in the sense that, you know, fans who have known their material for a very long time, and this certainly happens to me with groups that I've listened to for a very long time, a group like Depeche Mode, say, where it's like, after a while, I know what are my favorite albums, I know what are my favorite tracks on the different albums, and I sort of fall into rhythms of listening to those albums and those songs much more than the others. And even though I have a sense that, sure, I liked everything they've done, generally speaking, I listen to this one more than that one, or this song more than that one. And then when someone sort of brings one of the albums or songs that you haven't focused on back to your attention, oftentimes it can be very rewarding and enlightening. And indeed, this has happened to me not just with Depeche Mode, but with other groups that I've known for a while, where it's like, people will request a track, and it's like, oh right, you know, I hadn't thought about that one, I don't listen to that album as much. And then I'll sit down and sort of do an immersive listen, and it's like, oh my gosh, like, this is way better than I remembered, and dang, like, thank you for recommending this one. So it totally makes sense to me that there may be some of you who are thinking like, you know, this is fun to go back to this album which perhaps I've given less attention to, or I, you know, initially was sort of disappointed in, but now I can sort of see more value in, and so on. I really do appreciate people who've commented like that, and even if that's not the case, even if it's still not an album, as I'm going through, again, say, Memorial Beach now, maybe if it's still not an album that you think is where they're at their absolute best level, I do appreciate people still commenting, letting me know what they think about the different tunes and the different albums as we go through. So once again, thank you to all of you. But we're up to a tune on their 1993 album called How Sweet It Was, which is interesting, right? Like, oftentimes when you hear a phrase like that, it's how sweet it is. It's in regard to something that is currently extant or occurring. So How Sweet It Was, it sounds more reflective, nostalgic, or maybe even lamentative, in that state of affairs which was so sweet is no longer. So whether it's nostalgia in a positive sense, or whether it's nostalgia as seen through the prism of the difference of the present to that past state, remains to be seen. But yeah, it does suggest that whatever was the case, whatever was so sweet, whatever represented such a saccharine coming together of conditions or circumstances, is no longer the case. So it makes me think of the passage of time. It makes me think of the way that, you know, nothing great lasts forever. Nothing, not just nothing great, but nothing lasts forever, which I suppose is sort of the flip side of the negative aspect of that. Is that, especially for us sort of ephemeral mortal creatures, suffering hardship, it can be brutal, it can be unbearable, you know, but in the end, nothing lasts forever, even those kind of things. So yeah, it makes me think of the passage of time, but perhaps going in the other direction, from a really nice state of affairs to a less ideal state of affairs, although it could not, or it might not necessarily be because of, you know, some bad action or a severing of a connection. It just could be through the passage of time. You know, people die, like conditions change, people's health changes, and suddenly they can't do the things they used to. So even though it might not be sort of a malevolent action or a truly acrimonious split from the past, there still may be some aspect of the present that does not measure up to the past. In any case, I'll stop talking because, as I always say, these title speculations may have nothing to do with the song in question. But let's get to it. This is How Sweet It Was from Aha's 1993 album Memorial Beach. I thought it was going to sort of ease in a little more, and it just, nope, we got percussion, we got rhythm. Like that bass. I felt that second vocal emphasis. couldn't hear that like spoken vocal. Again, I forget what tune it was. I was just commenting on another reaction I did where, like, you know, if it ended 30, 40 seconds ago, it still would have been a great song. But that extra little bit with the keys and the sort of softer fade-out ending, it really takes it to another level. So, again, it's a testament to the composition. But I was thinking, like, during that track, it's like parts of that track, especially the way it kind of, like, really kicked into gear after that sort of momentary atmospheric intro, parts of the tune were reminding me of the better tunes in the Power Station album, and then other parts of that tune were reminding me of like some of the best like Roland Tears for Fears material, which again, sometimes my brain, just the way that I make sense of things is through comparison, through contrast and so on. So to be clear, those comparisons are meant to be positive in all directions, and it's just sort of like what my brain was thinking in the moment. But yeah, it's like the more percussive, energetic parts of that track reminded me of like the power station at the top of their game, but then the parts of the tune that were more kind of sweeping with some piano hits and kind of real kind of grand, that felt like a, you know, a Roland tune from Elemental or something. So yeah, I really did enjoy that. Yeah, let me know what you think. Ultimately, I didn't catch all the lyrics. It's another one where I'm gonna have to hear it some more. And a number of you have, like, when I've said this, you'll either post like the full lyrics, which is very helpful, or just sort of give me your take on what's going on in the tune, also very helpful. So yeah, bottom line, got to hear that one some more for the lyrics. Do let me know if you got an angle on that. But sonically, like, majestic, just very satisfying in multiple ways. And again, sort of a complicated sound. It had some energy, it had some like powerful percussion, but it also had some real sort of epic sort of melodic elements. It felt like a long journey of a tune. So really top track. So yeah, we'll have to figure out exactly how sweet it was and, you know, what that entails. But like I said, there were a couple moments where I heard some phrases that made me think we are talking the passage of time on some level. So yeah, do let me know what's going on there. Do let me know what you think of the tune overall. I will see you next time. Peace.